Yep. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. And if I sound tired, I am, because it's the first day of school and it was long. Joining me on the show today are two of my good friends that enjoyed a bicycle kick, nauseating, mind-numbing defense, and the kids doing something fantastic for us older folks to make us happy. It's Matt and Kate. How are you guys doing?
I'm recreating the 90th minute right now.
There you go.
Yeah. We took a quick weather delay before we answered the question.
Oh man, it felt like the game just buffered at the 89th minute. Honestly, and they were just like, "Hey, this disconnect the Wi-Fi and plug it back in."
Yeah, or I mean, even when they, we're skipping way ahead already. But even when they came back out, it just seemed like both teams were like, "Really, we're doing this?"
They must have been. They were soaked to the bone. Like they just had to play in like drenched, like completely drenched, like down to their socks soaking wet, and then they had to go sit on the bench in the back room for 30 minutes and then squish back out. Like that's horrible.
I don't know if you noticed, like at least all the kickers, came back out with like their white Under Armour on underneath, their jerseys. I think in any attempt to get a little bit of dryness.
Oh my god.
No. And the funny thing was, like, right before the ref called it, you can see Zaka like, yo, it's like 30 seconds left. Like, just finish the game.
Anybody see nothing?
No. Yeah, no. The likelihood of lightning striking the field, very slim. Let's just get this show on the road.
Right. And the funny thing was, like, so it was me, Ted, Father Gabe, and his wife at Triple Crossing. And when they called it, Gabe left. And me and Ted stayed there for extra 10 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going to go home. By the time I got home, because I'm still thinking, like, oh, it's under a weather delay. I go to pull up ESPN Plus, game's over. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought it was under a weather delay. It hadn't been 30 minutes left. Yeah. Barely gave me 4 minutes extra. I was like, you just wasted everyone's time. There was no reason to do this. And even in the rules, I thought they called it after the 75th minute.
Yeah. I have no clue what the value in coming out and playing those last 4 minutes were. No offense to the integrity and the sportsmanship of the game at large, but let's get serious here.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. Did either teams either attack in the last 4 minutes, or was it just like, yo, we just gonna pass the ball for 4 minutes?
And there might have been like a quasi shot, but nothing.
Greenville kind of went for it. They had a couple like long throws at the end. They were trying to. Like they had a few quote unquote set piece opportunities near the end that they were trying to.
Yeah, a couple throws, but nothing real.
Right.
Several. This could be the last opportunity of the game to blah blah. The overblown commentary.
So we just want to do this whole game in reverse. That'd be fun.
Oh man, I mean, if we want to do this game in reverse, we honestly can, because the second half of this game. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of impressed by the kickers. Like, they looked threatening in attack. Granted, there was no end product. There was a couple of close chances. I think, like, Emmy had a shot save near the goal. Bill Hart had a chance. I still don't understand how Bill Hart missed that, but I think he was offsides. There was a few offsides.
There was one where he actually wasn't offsides and was improperly flagged by the lineup. So,
right. But. Yeah, I mean, to kind of build on what you're saying, I thought they looked pretty good for 88 minutes of the game.
Yeah, honestly, they did. And like I was presently, if you compare this to the last time we played Greenville, I was presently impressed. I was really impressed.
I mean, the key is we just need to play them down there because we've still never lost on that field.
Yeah, that's good.
And these have not exactly been the top tier kickers teams, the last couple of years that have been going and playing on that field. So what's that about?
I just want to say that is still the place where Luke Pavone scored his goal. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
the place where Carlton Belmar scored a goal.
Jesus. Woo! Is he even still in the league anymore? Is he still in League One? I haven't
No,
heard.
he got promoted.
Belmar, I think, is he still with Charlotte, or did they?
No. Oh, I thought he was with NCFC, but
No, you're thinking about Olex. He started off with Charlotte, but I don't know if he still is with that because I haven't heard his name in a minute.
he'll be posted. I bet he's posted on it. No offense, Mr. Belmar, but another.
No,
He went private on Instagram.
Oh yeah, he gone.
What did you say?
No, I'm not blocked. He's just on private. Yeah, it says Charlotte Independence number 9. So
number 9 is a stretch, but okay.
Somebody's got to be it.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, he hasn't posted anything since July 21st. So do with that information what you will. But this podcast is about Carlton Belmar or his lack of pace or scoring goals. This is about the Kickers who went down to play one of the top teams in USL League One, Greenville, and came away with, I would consider, a positive point. There is a minute and a half of frustration in this game with, as much as I love Landon, I think he's still very young, still very raw. There was a lot of chances. It's just not on him. There's a couple other players who were they're trying to dribble out of pressure, and they just got stuck in it. And you can tell the ball was just not getting out, and we couldn't unscrew the pressure that Green was putting on to us. And then Zaka Moran and Nathan Ani both decided, we're going to play very aggressive for some odd reason since we've been backed in, and both jump towards the man and leave Sebastian Vasquez wide open to be one-on-one with our goalkeeper.
Yeah, brilliant tactical minds. They see the field in a way that us mortals truly could never. Honestly, kudos.
Why don't we go back, to the start though, and build towards that? Because
I was going to say that.
I think the frustrating point is because of how good things had been up to that point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I'm not ready to go so far as to say it's like their best half of the season, because like that first half at Knoxville, you could be in that list, possibly like the Madison, home game, first half could be, on that list, instead. But they started off really strong, I thought. And I don't know, for me, I think every week now it's a little bit of a which combination are we going to see on the field. Like, I know that personally I've changed my mind a lot on Justin Suko. If you'd asked me a month ago, I'd be like, whatever. I've liked him in this kind of defensive mid type role where he's able to just use his motor to cover a lot of ground for us.
Yeah, it's something that we've been missing, and like he's taken a role and made it his.
Yeah, he has a great passing range, which like he had one pass that I literally was like, my mouth dropped. It wasn't even that, but it was just he was dribbling up the field and he played it to the right, but it had such a crazy spin on it. It just landed straight at the feet of the, I don't know. I'm describing it terribly, but it was such a simple pass and he played it so well with such an impressive spin on the ball. It landed right at the whoever was on the wing's feet. Deceptively simple passing that, is actually very, very hard to do, but keeps the momentum, keeps the ball moving up the field, keeps players in their stride. All things that, when a team is flowing more quickly, good things happen.
Yeah, and I think he's good about being able to be that fifth man coming in, to the attack as well. So whether that's straight up the middle or helping with in this case with Landon or Sierakowski out wide, and being able to add some of those extra runs, so that way it's not always just an overlap from Maxi or an overlap from Simon coming through and helping out. So yeah, he's impressed me a lot over this last month or so that since he got back into the team. And happy to see him there, and maybe kind of providing that little bit of extra balance in the midfield that I mean, I guess probably fair to say we weren't really getting like when Vaughn was in there. We were getting more on the defensive side, but not as much on the going forward side. When I could barely even say Joao's in there because he's barely ever in there, but he's a little bit more on the attacking side of it. So I thought that was good, and I mean, I think the other noticeable piece was Shella was in there since social media followers will notice that Pablo had well, not Pablo, Pablo's wife had the baby, so a worthwhile excused absence this weekend.
Parental leave.
Yeah, congrats to the family having a little one. Keeping up. Yeah, this is the other thing about Suko. My fault. I wanted to bring this up, but he only lost one of his duels. He 4 to 5 ground duels, 1 aerial duel, 1. He only got Jumbo pass 1 time. So playing the defensive midfielder, like that's key. Like that's big. And when he had 7 recoveries, like that tells you, like you're right, man. Like he's recovering a lot of that space, and it worked well for the kickers because they were able to. It almost felt like, and I'm comparing it to the last game that we played against Greenville, where it just felt like Greenville was able to bypass our midfield. We didn't have an answer for it. Where in this game, it seemed like we were able to slow down a lot of what Greenville wanted to do. And thus, because of that, it kind of opened up Richmond being able to get it behind Greenville a little bit more and whatnot. Yeah. The goal itself, though, Brian Sierakowski, sir, please take a bow. I did not know you had that in a locker. I apologize for ever doubting your abilities to strike a ball. I did not know he had that in his locker.
Another Paladin Stadium legend. 2 games down there this year, 2 goals for him.
Yeah.
There you
go. It was very acrobatic for a man who doesn't look like acrobatics are what you should expect from him. He's a very stolid looking player. Yeah. Didn't necessarily expect to see him flinging himself in the air.
Yeah. Well,
around backwards.
The crazy thing is, like, if you clip out, the actual goal right there, you just kind of describe what happens in the first 15 minutes. You bet on him having a goal, because he probably should have scored, earlier. And even, 2 minutes in, he gets wide open down the wing, and the pace just wasn't, there. The defender was able to, catch him at that point, but he was, getting whatever he wanted on that, left side. So of course the one that he converts is the circus shot on his back, dead in the middle of the box instead.
And Matt, an assist from your boy, Mr. Simon Finch.
Yeah. Also, goal on a set piece because we're good at those.
There you go. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Can't beat it, honestly. I mean,
but kind of on the Simon point, I mean, a little bit, in jest, but I feel like we see so often, for reasons that I don't totally understand, Simon's one of the guys hanging back on these corners and free kicks, and I don't get it because we've seen him score a couple goals before, but he's good in the air. Like, even if it's in the position that he was on that one where he's at back post and okay, you're not going to score from there, but just playing the ball back across the face of goal, good things can happen. Like, okay, do you realistically expect it's going to be a quasi bike going in? No, but maybe you get a deflection. Maybe you just get the scrum that Ani didn't finish last week. Maybe would go in this next time. So having a guy like that inside the box to be able to clean stuff up and just a proven aerial target, like I like seeing him in there because I think he's like, even though he might technically be smaller than like a Griffin or somebody, I think he's more likely to actually win the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say Griffin's gotten in very good positions, but obviously you want to see players have the opportunity to develop those skills, but we also need goals scored, and I'd prefer having someone with Simon's experience. And he's physically more solidly built than Griffin is. Griffin is still a kid. He's still pretty push-aroundable. But he's gotten in good positions, so if you had a player like Simon getting in those positions, they might not be bouncing off the top of his head now or he's actually getting on the end of them, because there's been a few opportunities where I've been like, oh, Griffin, there's a ceiling, there's a growth potential here, but it would be really great if we were getting those goals now instead of 5 years from now.
We better not be getting those from him in 5 years.
That's true.
You got 2 years max. 2 years. After that, we ship you out, son. You going somewhere in 2 years.
PSV Eindhoven will be calling.
All I care, he can go to England. I just need that check to clear.
You can go to Kosovo.
Yeah, hey. I don't know. Did we talk about that last week? The new center back that we signed?
Not
No,
yet.
that happened after we recorded. That was a midweek.
There we go. Because everything is now blending into my head. But before we get to that, let's finish up with the Greenville game. My fault. Anyone else stood out for you? I mean, we talked about Sukos, had a good performance. We talked about the goal that led up for the 90 minutes. But any other performance that stood out to y'all? I'll give a good shout out to Shallow. He had another good performance and goal.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like, I think one, pretty decent save. Otherwise, I think it was more of these like old school, kickers performance where he racked up some stats, but they weren't necessarily like wow saves, which I think is the perfect combination if you're a keeper.
Yeah.
Like, maybe deep down you want the highlight reel, but you'd much rather have the easy ones where people who just look at the stat sheet will think, oh, this guy had a great game, when they're all just easy ones right into his stomach. That's exaggerating a little bit about the quality of shot that Greenville was getting, but not by a lot.
Yeah, it says that Greenville had 7 shots on target, but I can roughly remember, like maybe it felt like 5 of them were just right to Shallow's chest. Like they don't feel like they were threatening at all. Yeah, maybe I'm viewing it different, but it doesn't feel like Shallow was under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Either.
I would say maybe the goal was under pressure, but he wasn't necessarily tested too heavily, especially that first 40 minutes of the game. Like, yeah, they were getting some crosses, across the face of goal with nobody there to be able to get on the end of them, or they were taking some shots that didn't get on frame, things like that, where he probably had it covered. There wasn't a lot of concern. So Greenville was gradually, I think, taking a little bit of the possession control, but they weren't doing much of value with it, I think, is the key part.
Yeah, true. And also like Landon Johnson, like he got his second consecutive shot. We talked about him earlier, learning when and when not to dribble out of pressure. Overall, I think he had another good performance, kind of grading on a curve. But it is good to see him get back-to-back starts, him kind of being an influence there as well.
I think I've said this before. I like him starting more. I think it's been a little bit of a question with Bill, like whether or not why Bill Hart hasn't been starting. I don't know if it's just a simple rotation.
I think it's just rest.
Yeah,
I think it's just rest.
Rotating, but
it could also be like, Kate, if you're saying you like him starting, I can see that, and you like having Bill Hart available for the end of the game, because we've seen a lot of times. I don't know if it's a fitness thing or just somebody's got to come out to get other guys in. Thing where we make the subs, and Bill Hart's one of these guys coming off in the 80th minute, and we're all just like, why? That's a guy who might be able to come up with a goal on his own. So being able to have him available for the second half, having him available to be that super sub and come out a guy, I can see some value in that.
Yeah,
preferably I'd have him for all 90 the whole time, but
no, agree. And the reason I like Landon starting is because for I was about to say for better or for worse, but actually just for worse, the kickers are pretty much chasing the game at the end of every game. So have it like putting the pressure of getting either an equalizer or a go-ahead goal on the shoulders of 17 or 18-year-old kid who's very much still learning, has never quite felt like the right or the best possible option. I would prefer a player with a little bit more composure, a little bit more experience in a lot of those positions, not because you don't learn a lot, but I like Landon getting those minutes, but without the fate of the match resting on his youthful shoulders.
Yeah.
because I also prefer us scoring goals if possible. And yes, we're still waiting on him to get his first senior goal, aren't we?
Yep.
So, I don't think the circumstances are in his favor when there's the increased pressure of the result sort of like on your shoulders, it feeling like, every kick, every pass has to be perfect. I think that it takes the pressure off to have him start because he has a lot to add. And he does contribute when he's on the field. I think the pressure is not of coming in as a super sub is not the best the best growth environment.
Yeah. Do you guys think he does get a senior goal by the end of this year? I think he does. He came close against Tormenta.
The kickers aren't scoring enough for me to feel confident that to say any player is like gonna score XYZ because the goals seem to be coming from random places at random times. Like Emmy got those first couple goals and now he hasn't scored in a couple matches. Like it's just Bill Hart was on his tear in the first half of the season. Now he's kind of dropped off the scoring. Like it doesn't feel like anybody's scoring consistently enough for me to want to hang my hat on any player having any dependable contributions in terms of goal.
Yeah, I'd probably go like 40, 60 that he scores. So I think the smart money's on no, but I don't think it's a massive surprise or massive upset if he does because he is the guy who's shown he's willing to get the ball and go straight at goal. And at a certain point, one of those could come off, right? So
yeah, that's what I'm betting my money on. That's what I'm betting my money.
Yeah, I mean the goals have to come from somewhere. So not saying it couldn't be him, but when we're putting in max 2 a game and usually 1 or 0, gosh, it's been hard to say with confidence any player is scoring.
Yeah, it has been, but hopefully times be a turning because, look, this is my third time saying it. We played this Greenville team before, and we saw how that team played. And this is not a complete 180. It's like a 90-degree. It's like a tugboat slowly turning. But there was some improvement. Anything else from this game you guys picked up on or thought was interesting?
I liked Bill Hart in the second half. I thought he looked good. I'm asking a little bit of question. Where are the goals? Can they come back, please? That was fun when he was scoring regularly. But I thought he looked better in this cameo than he has in a few of the most recent games. But yeah, it was a tough battle between him and the offside flag mostly, more so the Greenville defense. But so maybe that's a one-off. Maybe the rain and the football field threw him off, despite how helpful those lines are in keeping you onside. But I thought I was more impressed with him. It felt like he was getting in slightly better opportunities than he has for the past 3 or 4 games, which just haven't been very good.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair to say that this is 2 completely different games. You had the first 70 minutes, and then you had the last 20, which were in what suddenly seemed like a massive monsoon in Greenville. It's for all I could tell. I mean, granted, USL caliber cameras, so it could have just been nasty the whole time and unaware of this, but all of a sudden, right around 70 minutes, it just looked like
the commentators couldn't stop saying, "Oh my god!"
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was smoke. I thought someone lit a flare, and it was just smoke was just.
I was just trying to think whatever the hurricane or tropical storm going on right now is. I couldn't.
Oh yeah, Eduardo or something.
Yeah. Felt like Eduardo's rolling right on through. It just looks like sheets of it, and I was wondering if our guys were going to essentially be playing shirts and skins by the end of it, because with our white shirts they're going to be straight up see through in another minute or so. It felt
if
like
they had last year kids, they would have been.
Yeah,
they would have been.
Yeah, exactly. So it just never felt like anything was really going to happen in that game once the rain started up. Again, little mini chances here and there, but at that point, I think everybody kind of say, all right, this is going to stay 1-1. Not too much more is going to come out of this. I think Emmy was doing a decent job of being able to try to find a few little pockets here and there and get some shots off. He pulled a couple of them, but I think he's doing he's being able to stay active in that center forward role in a way that the other guys who are playing that role, it's just not their natural position. Well, one of their natural positions, a couple of them it is, and it's not working out great. So I thought he was doing what he could. He isn't getting the service.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, to allude to your point, Kate, like the goals are dried up for Emmy. I think that's the bigger thing. Like, the service just isn't there. Like, Ryan isn't a natural distributor of the ball. Landon is still very young, and so that only really leaves Neil. And most teams know Neil's not going to shoot, and if he does, it's from outside. And if he's going to pass, he's going to try to give it to Emmy. So let's just shut down Neil.
I don't know if it was. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it was just this one, but I felt like I was also noticing Neil getting pulled pretty far out wide. I don't think that he's at his best when he's out wide. His crossing is like his set pieces are great. His crossing, I don't know. Like he's a better player centrally for me. So I think I noticed him spending a lot of time closer on the wings and pretty far up. And I don't think that's the best place for him to also get the ball to Emmy's feet. So
yeah,
he's been listed also out wide on some of FotMob's which has sort of like, is this because the players all their positioning? So it just feels like I don't know. His positioning hasn't been like as dead central as it has been in the past. And
I feel like he always likes to drift wide left though.
He likes it, but he's not getting the service into Emmy that he usually does, I think. Or his best service to Emmy is centrally. So when he's being pulled out wide, it feels like it's dulling sort of his brightest.
I think it's twofold because where Emmy is, like Emmy likes to drop back so much, so you don't want him to fall on top of Neil and occupies the same space as Neil. And plus, there's no natural left winger on this team. So it's easy for like that left winger to go play striker with Emmy up top or occupy that space and then have Neil float out there. That's what it just feels like was just kind of happening. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. I mean, obviously this result doesn't help us in the table as Tormenta got a draw and Lexington won. So it doesn't necessarily help us in the table. I think we're 3 points behind 8th place still?
4 points back now.
Back.
So Tormenta's currently 8th. They're on 17. Chattanooga on 16 and 9th place. Lexington and us are on 13. Fuego's on 11.
Wow.
So it still feels like, we got a chance at 8th.
And we have a game in hand on Tormenta for once. There's finally a team who's played more games than the Kickers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lexington and Fuego have a couple on us.
Yeah, but we won't think about that or talk about that.
But I think the thing we should be happy about is the expanded playoffs, because I think without that, I mean, we could probably already shut the book on the season if it was still a 16 playoff.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I don't know if y'all watched, but Chattanooga got the doors blown off them by Woodnock's new manager. So that gives me hope that, there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Yeah, I don't think Tormenta's any good either.
Oh, no.
So I think there's a clear top 7 in this league, and then everybody else is going to fight for that last spot. It's a matter of, one way to look at it is who gets out of their own way the best. Right? Because Lexington, up until this last week was tripping all over themselves at every opportunity. Fuego's Fuego. We know what we've been doing. Chattanooga will look good, and then you have a game where they ship 5 goals, to somebody. Tormenta is just, really just another version of us. I think that you can just be a little more explosive at times, but there's a reason I felt good going in that the Tormenta Jaeger game. It's because I have no regard for their team right now.
Yeah. So I mean, right now this puts us at back-to-back draws. Technically, the Tormenta game was a win, but it's back-to-back draws. We got Union Omaha coming up on the weekend. How y'all think that's going to turn out? Because we've had some success there, but we've also had Reddit nightmares there. Going back to July 8th of last year, where we were up 2-0 and lost 4-1. Maybe we can get a draw here, and it just vindicates everything. Maybe just get rid of all the curses.
In fairness, we're only up one man because the second red card was the moron on the sideline chirping at the ref.
Yeah, sure.
So it was still bad, but not as bad as it sounded.
Yeah,
logic would suggest that this is not going to go well this weekend, right?
Yeah,
but the counterpoint to that is look at the top three teams in the table right now, the teams that are ahead of Omaha. You got Charlotte, Greenville, and Madison. We've played each of those teams pretty decently this year. Like Madison winning a draw. Charlotte, at least how many times have we played them by now? Twice? Yeah. At least that one scoring draw in there. I can't remember what. I know we lost to them at least once. But Greenville, we've taken some draws off of them, especially away, right? Mm-hmm. So at least on the road, this team tends to be playing to the level of their competition a lot.
Oh no, we haven't. We haven't lost to Charlotte yet this year.
Really, we didn't lose a home game to them?
No, we have only played them twice, and both were in the Jägermeister, I believe. If I'm looking at this right, yeah, we beat. No, my fault. I'm looking at it from Charlotte's perspective. Yes, we lost them 1-0. My bad. I was looking at it from Charlotte's perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could have swore we were chatting with Hugh after one of those games, and just trying to make us feel better about things.
Yeah, as we always try to do. But yeah, your point still stands. Like we played the top 3 teams pretty well. So
it's also, I don't know, the cup format means that we've played so many of the same teams so many times that the rest of the league feels so much more of a dice roll because we just keep playing the same teams over and over and over. It just feels like we've played Greenville. It feels like we've not played any team except Greenville yet this season. Like, oh my God, I'm so sick of playing the same team. So I honestly, I feel like the cup has just shrunk the sample size so much that it's hard for me to
regional rivalries, baby. Regional rivalries.
I mean, it is weird that we're in late August and we're now playing a team for the first time this year. Like that's a little strange. I'll fully give you that.
We played everybody else in Charlotte in the league yet, but we played them twice in the cup.
Right.
Yeah. Like the fact that we've played we've now played Greenville 4 times and we've yet to play Omaha is just like, it just does. Yeah. It's like very hard to be like, it feels like this whole summer is just the cup summer. We've barely played any other teams since the cup started. So I'm like, I honestly couldn't tell you because we just keep playing the same teams week in and week out.
Oh man!
And those teams are also playing all the same teams because we're all playing each other. So it's just like all us, Charlotte and Tormenta and Greenville, all playing each other over and over.
Right. My bad. I'm trying to clear my throat. So we got Union Omaha. Does Darren stick with Shallow in goal, or does he go back to Pablo? Since Pablo's a new papa now.
I think he should stay on paternity. Just from a personal perspective, this is far too soon to go back to work.
Darren's at his door. Hey, get back and go, son.
Especially to travel to Nebraska. Maybe if it was a home game. It could be considered. But I feel like don't take this man away from his family to make him fly to Omaha. No offense. No.
It was just funny how you said it. It's funny how you said it. All right. So I'm assuming we probably see Shallow go back 4. This back 4 has been ever changing. Well, really, it's really been the center backs.
Yeah, I was gonna say we know who the outside backs are.
Yeah, we know who the outside backs are. Center backs, we know it's gonna be Griffin Garnett. So who's gonna
Griffin and TBD?
Yeah, there we go. I think it would be Gee. Like I can see Gee. Do you think our new center back, who we haven't yet talked about, who we signed,
No.
You think we'll see him on the bench at all?
No.
What's up?
He's probably done his hamstring on the flight over, so.
I hope not. It was a long flight for Cosmo to have a pulled hamstring for.
Doing stretches in the aisle.
That is a long flight. Matter of fact, all right, so CDM, like pretty much, I'll for me personally, I will take the full starting 11 from Greenville and put them up.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'll take that. And now I will say this: if Bill Hart is 100%, and we're assuming he is, he's just missing because of rest. Do you still start Landon and let Bill Hart come off the bench, or do you? Because I don't see him dropping Sarakowski. They playing Bill Hart and Landon. I think it's gonna be one or the other.
I think you work the idea of things have been working somewhat decently the last couple of games with Landon in the starting lineup. Ride the maybe not the hot hand, but the hot group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to just seeing the same 11, get trotted out there. Again, if we're going to see a change, it's probably at one of the center back spots, but who knows?
I think also going back to the pressure of it all, going to a team who's third in the table, you'd expect a slightly tougher match, similar to Greenville. So giving Landon, you can then adjust when Bill Hart comes in. He could come in at the half if things are looking dire. He could come in the 60th if Landon's putting in a good performance. It kind of gives you flexibility. Whereas if you start Bill Hart, I would prefer he plays the full 90, but he seems to be the one who gets hooked for some reason. So keeping him as a super sub that you can bring in as needed, depending on how well or badly things are going, takes the pressure off Landon to have to be the savior off the bench.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, there's options to play with, but I think, like, more or less, we'll see the same starting 11. And we're saying all of this, and Darren's going to be like, nope, I'm going to put Guy as striker. Just to stick it up all of us.
James Snedden gets his first senior start in goal.
No. No, but I could see this game.
Something had to go horribly wrong with that play.
Yeah.
For them to be like, yeah, let's get James to start. No offense to James. We love you. But something had to go horribly wrong.
I could see this being a Chandler game, though. Yeah, because on the baseball field, they've got some big boys in the attack, getting another big body in there to be able to help out. I can see the value that Chandler can be able to bring as a midfielder, like he prefers to be in this kind of scenario. So,
and we do need goals. He's going to score a hat trick. He's chasing that golden boot. So,
probably see a little bit of Dak in there as well. A little bit of left back. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting matchup. But
the starting 11 will be all those tall players, and then it'll have to go really far down to Emmy and then back up to all the rest of the tall.
What player do you think they're going to leave off the sub list?
I don't know. I mean, this is my favorite thing. Well, maybe not favorite, but one of my regular things to complain about at the start of each game now. So if you're a healthy person and you don't waste your time on Twitter, every single game, the USL, at the start of the game puts their graphics up there with the lineup card. And for reasons that are beyond me, they cannot seem to manage to get all 7 subs listed on there, no matter what. There's always somebody missing. So sometimes it's Suko, this time it's Chandler.
I think it's Wow's turn to get left off this time.
Yeah, that's possible because he tends to be a midfielder. So I could see him being the sacrifice.
Yeah, it feels like a Joao week.
All right.
I'm just like, come on now. Y'all get these in advance. All you have to do is just plug them into the template.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
We should run a betting pool. We should put numbers, odds on which player gets left off.
I think the better pool would be, you know, when do the announcers hit certain talking points?
Oh yeah. You know what? We should do that for the next watch party. I'll just bring a sheet and be like, bingo.
Squares.
Bingo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, actually, what killed me also was in this one, the announcer goes, and join Greenville at the next home game, August 16th. And then he goes, oh, that's today.
I missed that.
Yeah. And then he said, all right, let me find the date actually for their next home game. So I guess I don't know if that's his notes or if the team sends over sort of their promotional information. Because then he also said the wrong URL for the Greenville store. He said like Greenville tormentashop.com as the URL flashes on the screen, and it's shopgreenvilletormenta.com. Sort of like there's some mixed messaging. I don't know if the comms are having to pull these notes for themselves, if Greenville is just sending over random information that's not fact checked.
The wonderful world of soccer, folks.
I don't know who to blame. I don't want to erroneously blame the comms team if they're working with information provided by the home team.
I'm happy throwing either one of them under the bus there.
So some lighter news though, outside of comm teams messing up a whole bunch of stuff. For those that are season ticket holders, the Kickers had their mid-season? Yeah, I'm assuming this is what we call mid-season season ticket holder event. So you were able to come watch the Academy game, get some good El Guapo, which they have a good ranch sauce. It tastes really well. But I mean the result went in the Kickers' way. It was a little dicey there for a second because they gave up 2 blunder goals, and we were like, oh God, maybe it's us. Maybe it's the fans that are cursing these teams and they're playing horrible defense. But the kicker, really Nick Simmons took over that game. Matt, I don't know if you've seen Nick Simmons play in the academy yet. It's not fair. It's not. He looked like a grown man out there. And I'm not talking just because he's one of my favorite up and coming Jamaican national team players who I hope Jamaica calls up instead of Mason Greenwood, because I don't want to be associated with that kind of person. But he looked like a grown man out there. Yeah. The first assist he had for the first goal, it literally looked like somebody's uncle is just teasing the kids and just was like, all right, I'm tired. Now I'm going to go score.
Okay. No, I was going to ask because I haven't had a chance to go see any of those games in person yet. What's the level of the opposition look like? Because I see some of these scores, and I'm always a little skeptical when you see some really crooked numbers. In some of these games.
The game quality. I've been to 3 now, and the game quality is usually quite good.
Okay.
I will say, I caught one. I wasn't there for the Lionsbridge home game, but I've seen some. I watched another USL 2 game. I was shocked at how physical they were, but pointlessly physical. And that's what I like about these academy games. You do have a lot of teenage boys, but they do have a care. And sometimes they throw their bodies around with such reckless abandon that it makes it almost an unwatchable experience. But these players, they're quite good technically. They're not looking to injure themselves for absolutely no purpose at all. And the lopsided numbers, at least from the matches I've seen, one of them, they were all great, very well scored goals, and the opposition had a lot of chances. And then the other one I went to, I actually left at the 75th minute, and it was only 2-1 when I left, and it was kind of the game was teetering on a knife edge, and then they ended up scoring 3 goals in the final 10 minutes. So really turned on the Jets. So I wouldn't say the actual match play is very lopsided. This Kickers looks actually, they're quite clinical in their
goal
scoring.
I was just wondering because we saw with some of the Ivy games over the summer that scores can be very deceptive at times. So
I think at least the ones that there might be some away that have been iffier. I want to say there is a Patuxent-esque team in the division.
Probably.
So they've just sort of been.
But I mean, from what we gathered from talking to Darren and Mika and Connor was like the baby Roos or the Joeys as they're calling them, vary from like U15 to like U19, right? So like they haven't dropped any first team players. I mean, they count Landon, Gabe, Noah as like first team players, but they're really not. But they were saying like I forgot what game it was, but they were saying like our 18-year-old fullback was going to go up against like a 28-year-old in one game. So you see that sometimes, but they were really looking forward to and I'm kind of cutting the lead here, but the NCFC game, which the Kickers won, I think it was 3-1 this Saturday. They were really looking forward to that because it was against a pro academy. So most of the academies they're playing aren't pro. They're just like
similar to W League, like they're more youth clubs. This is their top level.
Or like, a USL League 2 like development team, whatnot. So that's what they was looking forward to playing. And I mean, it was bad.
And the playoffs, this is a promo for the September 8th game, which is the final division game for the academy as they're playing NCFC again. So they were the last two matches of their season, and those two teams are the ones vying for the playoff spot. So that was a huge away win, again, because of the quality of the opponent and for what it meant for the division table. So win and they're in terms of the playoffs, which is pretty exciting for the team's first season competing in this league. So they've asked everyone to come out to that one, for Red Army to turn out for that one. Sunday afternoon game at City Stadium, completely free. All the academy games I've been to have been a lot of fun, and I've been very impressed with the quality. And these players know how to celebrate a goal. And I have said this over and over that I need the IV players or something. If these 16, 17-year-old kids can be out here celebrating their goals, there's no excuse why our W League players cannot be celebrating their goals. They know how to celebrate a goal. They know how to bring the atmosphere.
It's hilarious. Really, that is Kate's sticking point. that is the thing that irritates me.
Yeah. So Kate's got that. I've got the lineup graphics. What is your pet peeve of the moment?
Oh, y'all should know it. Individual mistakes on defense.
We're talking about things that, in the grand scheme of things, are irrelevant.
Oh God.
Yeah, the stuff that makes us look like absolutely insane people to care about.
To have rants ready.
Yeah. God, I don't know. I don't think I have one right now.
That's healthy. No, that's good.
That's healthy.
So, okay. So that little piece aside, the real critical question for the both of you, chief, scouts, other than Nick, because we already know him. Anybody else, fans should keep an eye on.
Yes. There. I can't remember his name, but the striker. I can't remember his name.
We will.
It's a striker the Kickers got. Once I find it, it's going to kill me because I'll remember after the podcast. But he scored I think 5 or 6 goals in the last 2 games, and he's been training with the first team. So that's a kid to look out for. They got a young fullback. He has you saw he has the blonde kind of pro-ish flat top. Got a little bit of good pace on him. He kind of does the same kind of maxi role where later in the game they kind of made him look a hybrid winger as well. So that was kind of cool to see. And then he didn't play in the game, but of course James Seaton,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't counting any of the guys that are on academy contracts with the first team.
But I will say you can tell which players are on contracts with the first team compared to the rest, which I think is a very good sign that if you put them among their peers, they really are considerably better. Yeah. Not that this academy, I think there's a very high ceiling in this academy because they were telling us that, some of these other teams, although it's ostensibly a U20, that's not a hard age cap. So they are bringing in players who are older than that. Whereas, especially now in this later part of the season, a lot of the college players have gone back to school. So you're seeing mostly high schoolers. So these are very young players, although obviously the first team has brought in a couple of those very young players, but we're not even talking kids getting ready for college. So I think it is there's a very high ceiling, but it's also reassuring when you see the players on senior contracts amongst their peers. You can tell why those players have earned those contracts, and that they're not just being randomly selected based on vibes, but they really are very, very good footballers. So that's that. I think that's a positive that Nick Simmons looks that good amongst his peers.
I look forward to seeing mystery striker and mystery blonde flat top on the academy contracts next year.
Yeah, there you go. Mysterious players, just the way how the kickers do it with the rude trialist.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do it. And also other, I guess, academy news. Gabe Cox, I think he might have made his debut with Furman soccer. We really can't confirm it or not, but there are photos of him on the field with a soccer ball.
Are they actually game photos, or are they just like promo photos?
I think they're game photos as well, because there are a couple of promo ones, but like if you see him in the purple jersey, it look like game photos. So
okay,
I would just go with game. Doa their season at William Murray hasn't started yet, but as soon as that season start, we're gonna try to keep up with him. That's my goal for the off season. I'm gonna try to, because now we have a proper academy and kids to look after for both the men's and women's side. Maybe do like a monthly youth roundup podcast. Sounds like fun. Keep up with some of these kids, see what they're doing, and see how they're tracking. Y'all, this been a good week. Not a stressful week. We took a point from Greenville, so we kind of low-key shut them up after they wanted to, talk junk to us on Twitter when none of us was just like, y'all know we're not rivals, right? Like, we can stop pretending.
Have you forgotten the Bon Secours Cup?
Yes. Honestly, I have.
Okay.
Also, did you notice when the Richmond Kickers players scored a goal against Greenville at the same end as their supporter section, they did not run over to the supporter section and celebrate directly in front of them? Very mindful, very demure, very cutesy for the Richmond Kickers to not engage with the supporter section unnecessarily. Very demure.
Yeah,
I get that reference. Although I feel like rewind 5 minutes, that version of Kate would have been irate at that celebration that Sierakowski had of just kind of standing up and.
Oh yes, I had a lot of issues with the celebration.
In all honesty, I don't think Ryan realized what he did until he realized what he did.
Until Maxie came running over, waving his arms, and they both pointed at each other. We both scored a bicycle kick.
He was like, I do it good. I do it good. And funny is because it's Maxie, because Maxie just scored a bike as well.
Yeah, no, they were doing the whole like Spider-Man, like you, me, we've both done that.
Oh, now you gave me a meme idea.
You need a third one to be able to pull it off. So you guys can get on that this week and.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe who's a random Kickers player we could just Dak doing a bike. No, you know what? That seems like a more Ani thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of who would just be like unhinged enough to try that.
Ani.
Joao's been waiting for the opportunity, but hasn't come his way yet.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be Ani. Ani's unhinged enough to try it.
I can see Zaka.
If Zaka pulls off a bike, I might just lose my mind.
I'm basically just equating like who's willing to risk a yellow card on that.
Ryan Shello, 94th minute bike winner, up in the opposition goal.
No, if it's Zaka's gonna get a red because that cleats making contact with somebody's face.
But is it even a foul if he scores? It's not. It's not a foul.
For Zaka, yes, it doesn't count unless Zaka
he is refereed differently. I will say there's some of the these refs know his reputation and they referee him so harshly. There were a couple calls where he picked up a yellow. That was the dumbest yellow I've seen, and all the Kickers players surrounded the ref and were saying, "Are you kidding me? That was absolutely not a yellow card worthy foul." Oh, and I forgot my main beef. Actually, this is unrelated to anything, but Jamie Smith, that might be one of the most unwatchable players in this league. Fitch was shielding the ball out of bounds, put his arm up. Jamie Smith rolling around on the ground, grabbing his face. This league doesn't have VAR, sir. There's no. You're actually expecting the referee to give you a penalty as you're a center back up pressuring your fellow center back with the ball going out of bounds, flipping out, rolling around on the field. He then had to go out because of concussion sub protocols. He realized what an idiot he was, that he had to trot off the field. The physio was laughing while doing the required concussion protocols at him because he didn't realize that by flailing around the ground like a fish, he was going to actually have to exit the field. Oh my God. And then, he was doing my head in left and right.
Yeah, it was just funny. Because, Jamie Smith loves to troll, and then he trolled himself.
He trolled himself bad at that one.
Anything else from y'all before we wrap up today's show?
No.
I think we covered everything. I think we talked about the new kids, the center back coming in, the draw, and the potential for another draw. At this point, draws feel like victories, and actual victories will feel like a slice of deserved birthday cake. So, we'll take what we can get.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Madison doesn't win a cup.
Yeah.
I feel good with it.
Yeah. The playoffs are honestly going to be less of who do I want to win and more who do I more want to lose than who do I want to win.
Yeah. It's another hate watch. It's a potential another hate watch from the.
It's where I thrive.
Mm-hmm. We are real haters on this podcast. Do not ever get it twisted.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody doubts that with some of the stuff I've said.
Yeah, we do not root
for anybody.
Root for absolute chaos. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. With that being said, to everyone going back to school, enjoy it, be safe, have a great school year. We're going to be bringing some more stuff down the line. And with that being said, as always, we just want to say thank you for taking the time of your day for listening to our podcast, because without you, we couldn't do this. And we probably wouldn't want to do this. So once again, thank you. Feel free to share with a friend, help us grow the YouTube page. I think right now we are on 60 subscribers. So let's try to push it up to 65. And with that being said, for Matt, Kate, Shaneer, and Father Gabe, and myself, we will holler at you guys next week. Be easy and be safe.